will you get a chance to go over and play a practice round on this course?
Well, we did. We went over last Friday. We had strange set of circumstances. They had a men's tournament tomorrow at their at the club, and we couldn't get on it, and so they set up Sunday. Yesterday. Well, I was afraid of the weather, and it did rain and was not very nice. So we went over last Friday, and the team played it all last Friday, and then a couple of the girls on their own went back again yesterday. So we've had a chance, and after you see it one time, it's you just hit it straight down the middle, and there's no tricks. And no tricks to this course, straightforward golf course that's difficult.
When you do that, though, do you chart it? Do you start making notes on length, certain holes, what's out there? Because it's a practice round, but it's also a coaching round too.
Right. It unfortunately, when we went last Friday, the wind was howling out of the south about 35 mile an hour, and it sort of distorted a lot of your shots, obviously, and hopefully it won't be nearly that windy next week. But there was a couple of holes where you didn't want to hit driver off the tee box because it brought some fairway bunkers into play. Maybe you're better off hitting a 3-wood and staying short of those bunkers. Some of the holes were better off you attack one side or the other. Maybe take a bunker out of play and a little easier approach shot if you did miss the green. And obviously, we took some notes on that and made some mental notes, and hopefully it'll help us on Wednesday.
We see the pros. They every shot they get out and they have some type of a yardage. I don't know whether it's quite that complicated or not, but I would imagine for some of the better players that have a decision to make, whether it's an 8-iron or a 9-iron. No, they kind of want to know where they are on the course.
Well, right. Now, the pros, obviously, they can get down, is it 5 extra yards, the wind with me a little bit or whatever? I mean, they are so fine-tuned. Obviously, high school golfers aren't that fine-tuned. Now, they'll know whether they need to hit a 7 or need to hit a 6 on the hole, but the pros, I'm going to really step on a 6, we're going to back off a 7. They really fine tune it, and we're not. High school golf's not that fine tuned.
Right. What's the key to this? I don't know. How long have you coached girls golf?
Well, I'm thinking about 15 years.
What's kind of, there's got to be some keys. It's not a sport that obviously gets as much attention. You have to have a lot of patience, but. To be honest with you, John, you've been as successful as just about any program we've had in our school. You've taken a lot of teams to state tournaments. You've had some outstanding individual players. There's got to be some keys there that you look back on each year and go, maybe why we made state, why we didn't. It still comes down to players, but you mentioned some of those girls. You've had some girls obviously start playing better at the end of the year, which afforded you the ability to get to the state tournament.
Well, some of it's hard work. You take Kelsey Cottom, for example. She turned in a really good round, her best round that she's turned in last week at the regionals. She was late coming out because she was in basketball, so she's only been out even less than 2 months. But she's a very, very hard worker. For a girl to be the really top girls in the state, now, and it's true for the boys too, they had to have started at a young age. 4th, 5th grade, and had lessons and played a lot of golf and played in the summer. If they want to be really the top echelon of golf, whether it's girls or boys. Now, I know for a fact that we have better golfers today in 6A golf than we did 15 years ago when I started. I tell you what, you take Union's team, they start 3 freshmen, and their 3 freshmen may be their best 3 players. These girls are consistently in the lower half of the 70s, week in and week out. They are really good players, and we heard about them last year that they were coming. But girls golf has really grown in the 15 years I've done it. A lot of good golfers.
And you mentioned Union to boot. That sounds like it might be their home course too. So.
Well, we were over there the other day. Their number one player that plays number one for them, Ashton Collier, lives right across the street. She could throw a golf ball and hit the clubhouse from her home. So I'm sure that she has played it, every day for 10 years.
Right. Well, that comes down to that. She knows where every divot is on that course, so somewhere along that's got to help. Talk about the year, John. I know you had conference, you had some other tournaments. What were some of the high moments of this year's team?
Well, obviously the regional was really a high moment. We went down to Guthrie first tournament and played well. Didn't win, but played well. We've been to Enid. We've been to Union had another tournament over there. It wasn't at this course, but it was Indian Springs, and of course we had an injury here and an injury there, and didn't have everybody together. But it has been an interesting season that we have continually gotten better, and I was really concerned. We didn't play that well. Our score wasn't bad in conference, but down at Lawton, but Enid beat us by a stroke, and we have been neck and neck all year with Enid. But then Stillwater beat us by about 10. And I thought, my gosh, everybody's got. Well, then we go to the regional and beat them by 14. So, and I thought we were better, but they sure got us down there. But this will be a true test Wednesday and Thursday, because this is the real deal golf course. Lots of bunkers and got to be able to play. It will be a test.
Wednesday, 10 o'clock, 18 holes. Get some sleep, come back Thursday and play another 18 holes.
Yeah.
And let the chips fall where they may. Who's the favorite going in, John?
Well, Union be the favorite team-wise. Individual-wise, I mean, Whitney, the girl I talked about from Union, their number one player, it's her home course. She would have to be in the mix. Then Alec Cook, I think how you pronounce her name, from Jinx, their number one player, is a good player. She's won a couple of tournaments. Then these three little freshmen that Union have that they could all win it.
You're not mentioning anybody from Oklahoma City, and they dominated for so many years.
Well, the Mustangs got one pretty good girl in it, but they don't have the dominant player. And, right. Edmond North, when I first started, they won 6 straight tournaments in a row. They went about 6 years, were never defeated. Never were beaten, their team. They're still good, but they aren't dominant like they were before. I don't know, Mike McGraw was the OSU coach, was in Edmond at that time, and when those kids were coming up, and he was in charge of their summer golf program, and I think that's one of the reasons that they were so good.
Well, sounds like you got everything set. Have a great end of the year finish. I know having the team there is a great end of the year finish, and good to see you again, my friend John Spore, the girls golf coach. We wish them well at the state tournament this week. That's this week's edition of Coach's Corner.